Warning! This video contains spoilers for Yakuza 3. So if you're looking to play this game, come back to this video after you've completed it. If not, then we shall begin. Have I ever told you about the definition of insanity? It's playing the exact same game over and over again, expecting something to change. But change it did, thank God. My efforts were finally rewarded.
Sent me a message first, yeah? I live in Smethwick, Birmingham. If you want the fucking brawl, come down Smethwick, Hospitality. I'll come out of my house and I'll break your fucking legs.
But the question is, how did I come to this conclusion? How did I end my cycle of insanity? Well, friends, we'll have to rewind on this one. It comes with full confidence that I can conclusively say there is no God. But BLOO, you ask? How so? Well, I came to this conclusion using the evidential problem of evil. If there was truly an all-loving God, then why would he allow Yakuza 3 to exist in this world? To put Yakuza fans through this game is truly an act of evil. But I digress. If you couldn't tell by now, I really hate Yakuza 3 with a burning passion, but I vowed to complete every single game in the franchise on Legendary, so I had to see it through. So, we begin with... Playing chapters 1 to 4 is a double-edged sword. There's barely any combat at all, and when there is battles, they aren't that hard to complete. It's a pretty easy pull-off, to be fair. However, the real difficulty lies in whether you can resist falling asleep during the rest of this section, especially with the time spent at Morning Glory Orphanage, because goddamn did I get some good sleep. To sum up my opinion of the orphanage section, I present you with this audio clip.
Man, fuck them kids, bro.
Like bro, honestly, who the hell thought it would be a good idea to begin the game with a bunch of slow filler, such as finding out which one of these dipshits stole everyone's pocket money? I want to be getting into fights, knocking some goons out. Why make me do this? Like sure, it's nice and all for the first 2 chapters, it gets to show Kiryu's more nurturing side, but why the hell did you have to stretch it out to 4 chapters? That's a third of the damn game! This chapter period just felt like one long, necessary drag, and it was completely unnecessary. You could have just limited this to just 3 chapters at least, so at least you can still learn the basics of the game and establish Kiryu's reason to go back to Kamurocho. The only 2 redeeming things from this section were the fact that barely any combat made this legendary run a lot easier, and of course, Rikia, the best character in this goddamn game. So finally, at the end of chapter 4, we get to the combat. The good stuff, right? So I landed back in Kamurocho, and we immediately run into combat. The good stuff. However, it's with one of the most mid mini-bosses ever, Hasabe of the Nishikiyama family. So mid, in fact, that we'll never see this man again for the rest of the game. My reason for saying that he's mid is the fact that this man is a big fan of blocking, a technique you will definitely see further on in Yakuza 3. I ended up having to rely on heat attacks and trying to bait him out to get some hits on him, but this fight is unnecessarily long because of this. Once we beat his Bow Wow looking ass, we need to dash off to the Millennium Tower to meet with Kashiwagi, and this is where I ended up wasting 3 hours of my playthrough. So the police show up and block up all the main roads to the Millennium Tower, so I have to go through a scary alleyway, and what's worse of all is that I get cornered by Americans.
Chocolate chip.
The fight is only a pain if you don't take out the leader's goons first. I simply just bowled them all over with a bicycle. As for fighting their leader, you do as the Viet Cong did in the Vietnam War. Attack the enemy from behind. Follow this simple step, as they did the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and you'll be fine. Now, the real trouble is what comes after. Kiryu, like the dumbass he is, ends up chasing another guy assuming he's with the Americans, and begins a chase sequence. The chase sequences are poorly implemented and suck ass, as you and your opponent have stamina bars which are constantly depleting as you run. You have to have a perfect balance between staying close to them, jabbing them to deplete their stamina, whilst also making sure yours doesn't run out, otherwise you'll have to start at your last save. One wrong move, and you're back at the previous boss fight. And this is where I wasted those 3 hours. Run into a civilian? Say goodbye to half of your stamina. Miss a jab? Well, that's this attempt over, buddy. I ended up receiving game overs at this part more than any other section of the game. But once I beat it through muscle memory, we find out that this was a complete waste of time, as we were chasing Mac, the man who teaches Kiryu how to use the internet to shitpost in the previous chapter. After that, I head to the Millennium Tower to meet with Kashiwagi and work out the mystery behind the Kazuma lookalike who shot Nakahara. But before Kashiwagi can tell us what's going on, he gets game ended by those damn Americans, taking us into the next chapter. After yet another damn chase sequence, but more of an inconvenience this time, I escape the police who are looking to question me when I bump into Date, who's now working as a journalist for Fox News.
Has, quote, transitioned from high stilettos to lower block heels. Also less sexy. That's progress.
He takes us to safety at the reopened Serena Bar and gives us a lowdown on the new Tojo clan family leaders. Those being average British bloke.
Come on, England! Score some fucking goals!
Azuma, who'd be trying to tell me why NFTs are a stable income, and Hamazaki, who I don't really see much of, to be honest. After that, we establish that Kanda is who we'll need to speak to work out who game-ended Kashiwagi and shot Daigo Nakahara. But before that, Rikia rocks up, so we've got to give him a tour of Kamurocho, obviously. Also, side note, if you want to gain a load of XP for very little effort, do both of Rikia's side quests whilst you're showing him around town. Thank me later. After that, we end up bumping into Kanda's goons, who point us in the right direction of where he is, which I can't disclose on YouTube unless I fancy receiving a community guidelines strike. So, After beating Kanda, he admits that he had no plans to kill Kashiwagi and had no involvement in the attacks on the other two, suggesting that we go after Hamazaki instead, leading us to progress to Chapter 7.
Hey, not a lot going on around here lately. Let's just see what's behind this door.
We make a quick stop to Purgatory after finding out that Majima may be involved in this conspiracy as well. So we pay him a visit at the Yakuza equivalent of Fight Club. So, beat Majima. Turns out that he only had stakes in the beach resort they planned to build back in Okinawa, so he hasn't got anything to do with the attacks. So we're led on a damn goose chase, which is one of my biggest problems with the game, because it just feels like we're led on a pretty wild goose chase for filler's sake. But oh well, next chapter. Turns out that Hamazaki has had the support of the Chinese triad this whole time, and he sends them into Kamurocho in hopes of taking over. Now, there's one thing I hate more than Yakuza 3, I must admit, and that's triads. After all, I'm already being hunted down by the 14k triad for tricking their leader into purchasing a used PlayStation Store gift card when he actually owns an Xbox. And my beef with Yakuza's Snakeflower triad in particular, well, their leader Lau Kalong may definitely be badass with his cool weapons and shit, but I can't say the same for the rest of the Snakeflower. Especially that goddamn officer.
A man who never eats pork buns is never a whole man!
Oh my god, do I want to reach through the screen and eviscerate this bloke. There's an annoying mini-boss sequence where he pulls up in the clown car with his buddies, and you have to tediously beat this guy whilst avoiding the goons. As if you knock one of them out, there'll just be another one there to replace them, which just reminds me of those infinite spawners from the Simpsons video game. After beating him, you have to fight him a second time, and then chase him through tight alleyways, which is a pain to pull off. Yet again, one wrong move, and that's your run screwed, bud. I promise you though that you can beat it eventually with enough big brain muscle memory. Perhaps I really should be investing that into revising my A-level philosophy. Oh well. We charge on through and beat down another officer and get to fighting Lau Ka Long. This fight is way too easy because he allowed you to keep raising your heat bar through constant QuickTime events, but I still enjoyed it anyway. It's like battling a villain from an old kung fu movie, as he pulls out eccentric weaponry to fight you with, such as his shoe knives, spear, and I don't know what these are, so I'm just going to call them Wolverine claws. Of course, we beat him up, but he ends up getting clapped by Kazuma's doppelganger, initiating the next chapter. Not really much going on in this chapter, to be honest, so I'm just going to give you as quick an explanation as possible. So basically, the Japanese defense minister tracks down Kiryu's phone number and tells us to meet him with Date at the Japanese parliament, to explain to us who Kazuma's lookalike is and why the Americans are here. So it turns out that the Americans are the members of a rogue CIA group called Black Monday, who traffic weapons in secret, and the mysterious man is Kazuma's younger brother, Joji, and Joji is tasked with hunting down Black Monday by the CIA themselves, as they are aware of who they are. Stop them, and the Minister of Defense promises to stop the beach resort from being built in Okinawa. But we now also have to save his former assistant Toma from being assassinated by Joji in Okinawa, so we have to get there ASAP. And just as we're leaving, though, the Parliament guards attack us. However, we beat them, and Majima pulls up in his two-wheel truck to save us. Job done. Like the professional politician that Toma is, he decides to visit the local pub in Okinawa. You already know what this is. However, Joji rocks up to try game end him, but we save the day by duking him out. And to be honest, this boss fight was actually kinda difficult. He can easily knock you out at any moment given, and take out a chunk of your health if you're not careful, so make sure to pack your meds. The real villain is revealed. Mine is going to kill Daigo to take his place as Tojo clan leader. He also sends Tamashiro and his goons to destroy the Morning Glory orphanage, as a way to intimidate Kiryu into not chasing after them. I don't really have a problem with destroying the orphanage part, to be honest. Screw those kids. Also, make sure to pack a bulletproof vest for the Tamashiro boss fight, because oh my god is it awful. It's yet another annoying crowd control situation, where you have to fight him off and his goons, and try to hit him at the same time. However, Tamashiro has an automatic pistol, which has the ability to create a distance between you and him. So here's a tip. Remain as close as possible to him, and keep hitting him as much as you can, because he can't block you, so you use that to your advantage. And trust me, beating him will feel so rewarding.
No! Fuck! Shit!
After flying in style back to Kamurocho in the taxpayer jet, Kiryu rocks up to the hospital where Daigo is being held to save him and defeat Mine. We battle our way up to the elevator, but there's one annoying ass guy who just keeps blocking. I swear to god, you could only land 3 hits on him at a time before he started blocking again. You'll get there eventually though, trust me. Once we defeat him, we battle our way through the corridors, get to the elevator and to Daigo's hospital room. But Daigo is missing, and we're greeted by Black Monday leader Andrew Richardson. Repeat the same trick from the last fight with him, attack him from behind. However, you're in a tightly packed room, so be very careful not to back yourself into a corner. I beat him and dashed off for the elevator, but turns out Andre has the Jingu treatment, so he gets back up again. However, beating him a second time isn't that hard. Sure, he has a gun, but this room specifically is designed for guerrilla warfare. Once we defeat him, we can finally confront Mine, whose evil plot is that he doesn't like seeing Daigo in this condition, so he's going to kill him and take over? When he could just maybe, help Daigo recover? So anyway, we fight him. Mine has 3 core fighting styles: regular moves, aggressive heavy attacks which last for a temporary amount of time, and a healing move. The healing move just recovers 1/4 of his health each time, so keep hitting him even when he's healing, just to decrease the benefits of this move. Besides that, he deliberately decreases his own health through constant quick-time events again and again, so his defeat is inevitable, and most definitely one of the easiest final bosses I've done in this franchise. We beat Mine, Daigo magically wakes up, and Andre Richardson is killed by Mine.
俺もそっちに入れるかな。
Let me go!
やめろ。
Let me
やめるんだ。ミネ！
Let me go!
Equilibrium restored. I'm glad to say that I've completed this game on Legendary mode, to be honest, as the achievement name is completely correct, as having to put yourself through this nightmare of a game is a testament to strength in itself. I don't recommend you play Yakuza 3, just play any other Yakuza game in the selection. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna go to bed now. Good night, friends.